Well, hello and welcome to Love Audio's YouTube channel. My name is Paul Webber. Great to have you along this afternoon, this evening, this morning, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are watching it from around the world. Please do let me know in the comments, especially if you're new here. And make sure you give the video a nice thumbs up. That always helps the channel as well. Oh, hang on. I'm on my phone and that should not be happening. Shush. Quiet, please. That should not be happening on the phone. Okay, so where was I? Oh, yeah. So what is Love Audio production all about? Basically, it's a safe, fun, friendly, and hopefully entertaining, it's certainly going to be that tonight, definitely, platform for you to learn the basics in audio production. So if you guys are on board with that, give it a big thumbs up, and we'll get on with it. Love Audio! And you know what? That's a great place to live, isn't it? A place called Parma, Ohio, USA. Parma. We know the Parma as the Parma violets over here. Those kind of very small, purpley sweet things. We used to have those as kids. I think they're still available if you get them from like a retro sweet store or whatever it is. But yeah, Parma. Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, Rob Sim from Parma, Ohio, USA. Hugh Demand, otherwise known as Whip Profit, is in from Canada. And that's really good to have you along this evening on the stream. Sorry, it's about half an hour late. The reason for that is that I was allocated a delivery round today. And in fact, ended up in my hometown of Teignmouth in South Devon, which was really nice because it was sunny and it was great. And I got to bump into people I know and all that kind of stuff, which is really good. However, challenges then were afoot. And yeah, a lot of the deliveries I was doing were apartments, and half the people weren't there, and some of them were, you know, a little elderly and infirm and all that kind of stuff, so they weren't, you know, able to receive the parcel. And it just went kind of from bad to worse. So it took a lot longer than the 3 hours I was allocated to deliver the parcels. So my sincere apologies about the late start. I know that this has been delayed anyway from last week because I was not able to come onto stream last week and do this particular channel. So yeah, so I'm glad to have you with me anyway. What we're going to be doing tonight is looking at what I called in the thumbnail that pumping effect, and that's the kind of effect that you get with a lot of pop songs these days. They kind of have that kind of whooshing sound, and it's created by a thing called a compressor. Now, if you're new to audio production, we're going to be talking about compression in a great detail tonight, so make sure you stay tuned for that if you're interested in learning all about compression, that kind of thing. A lot of software comes with compression, and each one's going to differ as regards the the settings that you can use. However, they pretty much do all the same thing. So what we're going to do is to look in depth at the compression and to see if we can create that kind of whooshing, pumping effect in a dance track that you so often hear on pop songs these days. Okay, so if you have any questions as we're going along, please do drop them in the comments. I will answer them as quickly as I possibly can. They will come up on screen as well, so just be aware of that. All right, so we're going to flip over to the screen I have here, which is this the garage or the APT. It looks great. APT apartment. Oh, no, the apartment's gone. Rob, this is the garage, and it's full of DJ kit as well. I've got my big Electro Voice speakers here. That's the cover for them. I don't want to kind of show you all that kind of stuff because we're not talking about that tonight, but I've I'm surrounded by 4 speakers, 2 subwoofers, and 2 massive 15-inch drivers. You know, 15-inch, what are they called? Mid-range cabs. So that's what those are, if you're wondering what the background is. Okay, so it's not normally on screen, so yeah, it's because I've got no other room in the garage. I've just, I'm storing stuff left, right, and centre. I've got no room for it. So let's dive into to this particular scene. Let me just go to my other screen there. You'll see that. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so this is Studio One 5.5 Pro. This is from PreSonus, and the software that I'm creating the drum beat first of all with is a thing called Impact. And these are, for want of a better word, touchpads. So you've got like bass drum, got like a rim shot there. You've got a snare drum. It's a nice snare, actually. I like that. There's a click there. You can barely hear that. I don't even think that's like a sample. You can barely hear it. Snare drum. It all sounds more like a hand clap. Whatever a guiro is. Closed hi-hat. Percussion. Clack. Boing. FX1. FX2. Percussion 2. Percussion organ. And a... a synth hit. All right. Now this is from the drum pads called Minimal House. So I've loaded that up as a preset. And what we're going to do is minimize that just for a second so you can see the track. The track at the top of the screen there is the sample that I'm going to be kind of showing you really as to the effect that I want to create. Now let me just play you that. A short snippet of it. Now I don't want to play too much of it because it's written by, or it's certainly the song itself was performed by. Let me think here. Call on me. The song was Valerie by Steve Winwood, but it was remixed by Eric Prydz in the 90s into the 2000s. So have a listen to this. Can you hear that kind of whooshing sound? That's the kind of thing that we're going to try and create tonight. So the drum beat itself is kicking in, but there's some strings behind it that are being subdued by the kick drum. Have a listen. And it's clever because the background vocals aren't actually being suppressed by the compressor. They're being left as they are, which is really cool. So that's the kind of thing that we're trying to create tonight. And we're going to start with track 3 on the mixer. You can't see that. Let me go to full screen a second. And you should be able to see that now. So track 3 is over here. The track is armed, ready to record. So it's... There you go. That's our bass drum there, right there, okay? So here we go. So listen very carefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So if we replay that. Hopefully that's coming out nice and loud and clear at your end. Okay, good stuff. All right, so we'll just edit that a second. So I want to get it to, let's change that to bars. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16. That's what I should have done actually. I was recorded it to a snap track, to a metronome. So let's try that again. So we go back to the beginning, and it should count us in this time. Here we go. Not quite in time. Let me just erase that and start again. Here we go. Okay, so we should have 16 there. Let's try the beginning. Snap to grid. Hang on, let's try to the bar. And let's rewind that again. Not quite working, is it? Let's have a look. Quantize. Yeah, it's not perfect. Let me try that again. So we go back to the beginning and then try and get that recording right. I've got, let's have a look here, quantize, input, quantize. Right, okay, so we're going to input that. We're going to not actually input that. We're going to quantize it afterwards. Let's try this. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay. So we're quantizing that to those notes. Let's try again. Let's just rewind that to beginning. Yeah, it's going out, isn't it? Okay, so what we want to do is quantize it to the beats itself, to the bars. So let me just try and edit that if we can. Let's go here. That's not going to work, is it? Let me think. We take that off for a second, and I can edit it there. Get rid of the front of that, and then bring that back to the beginning. Oh, obviously not. Try again. I think the metronome's out. Yeah, I don't think it's me. I think it's the metronome. It must be out. Let's have a look here. How does this work? It should correct it. Shush. Quantize. Let's try this. Snap to quantize. Let me think. Let's rewind that. You see, we could really dive into each single note, and you'll notice that that these notes are coming in just shy of the grid there. 2 seconds. Let me go to full screen for you again. You'll see that. So we're trying to get this bass drum in first. That's the main thing. Okay, and you'll notice that the note is here. Let's just rewind that to the beginning of the track. So play that again. So here, you see what we can do is this, is I can actually drag that to the beginning of. It's not bad, it's not that far out, but I just want to make sure it's snapped to the grid. Let's go grid instead. What does it say? Snap to grid. Yep. Yeah, snap to grid. Okay, good. It's slightly out on that one. It's okay on that one. Slightly early on that one. So I want to just take that off and be able to move it manually. Interesting. What does this say? Snap, quantize, snap to grid. Thank you. Ah, right, good. Okay, good. Hang on, slightly out there, and we do need to erase that bomb note. Do you hear that one? So we can get rid of that. And then we're also snapping to grid here, so hang on. Again, it's out there. Snap to grid. So I want to get it accurate, because otherwise it'll go wrong later on in the mix. Brilliant. This is great. So what we're doing is snapping to grid. So we're snapping every bass note to the actual grid. Even though I played it wrongly to the time, you'll hear that when we line this up, it'll line up perfectly with the metronome, which is our click track as such. There we go. So it should be almost there now. A few more to go. This one here. And when you click snap to grid on the actual software, it's actually snap to quantize. That's strange. Okay. Although I've said snap to grid. So it's quantizing it, but it's snapping it to the line of the grid when I drag it over, which is brilliant. So if we click back to the beginning of that now, that should be in time. And slightly out on that one. Look. Oh, hang on, I've just deleted it. Hang on, undo. Undo. Oh, it's not snapping to grid. There you go. Notice the bump. It's not there. Let's that one there should be there. There you go. That's better. That's much better. Okay, good. Okay, so we've got our bass notes in there. That's brilliant. So let's close that window there and shrink that down slightly. We'll go to the end of. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Brilliant. Okay. So what we could do is go in here and at the marker, slice it right there. He says. Slicing it at... It won't let me slice it. Why not? Why won't it let me slice it? Okay, that's interesting. Let's duplicate that then in that case. So right click, duplicate. Okay, so we'll move that back to the grid. And what we want to do is to bring in a synth track here, like strings. So what I'm going to do is bring in probably Mai Tai, I'd imagine. Let's get Mai Tai on this one here, and then bring in a strings section. Strings, Jean-Michel strings, Keith strings, choral strings, downtown funk. Yeah, let's try that. Not really. Let's try something different. Softly Clouds. That's not too bad. Not a bad sound. So what we want to do is close this down. We're going to go back to our beginning of the track, and we're going to go... Let's just listen to the instrumental at the top there. Okay. Gonna mute that and then start from beginning. So it should count us in. Let's just Okay, so we've got some strings in there now. We're going to move that closer to the beginning of the track. In fact, we're going to move in and edit it as well because it's not quite where we needed it. So let's just undo that and then slice that. Close that off. Put that back where it was and bring that back in. So now it's... Which is fine, nothing's happening yet, which is absolutely fine. We didn't want it to do anything just yet because we haven't added any compression or anything to it yet. So that's pretty cool. So what we're going to do now, Rob says, time to go full screen so I can really get absorbed into the education. Brilliant stuff. Thank you. It's good to have you along anyway. So let's go back to our instance of PreSonus Studio One 5.5.2. We've got My Tai on there, which is fine. We're going to add another synth here. And this time we're going to probably go with, let's have a look. Let's click My Tai Mojito Presence. It's a good one. Let's get that in there. And this one we want, let's have a look here. Probably, we've got strings, haven't we? So keyboards possibly. Let's have a look. Synth session, and let's go with some pads. Bobo pad. Maybe this one, chord me pad. No reverb on that, why not? Let's have some reverb. It's better. Delay. Okay. That's good. Let's try this then. So we're going to go back to the beginning. Stand by. Let's count us in as well. So I haven't got a count in, have I? So let's click on that a second. Pre-count. 1 bar. Yeah, good idea. Pre-roll. Yeah, pre-roll. Okay. Stand by. Here we go. Here we go. That clearly didn't work, did it? Let's try that again. So I don't know what that is. That's pre-roll. So let's ignore that. Record mode replace. No. Pre-count. Okay, yeah, let's try that. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. Kind of messy, so I'm going to get rid of that. Start again. 2, 3, 4. Nope. Started off on the wrong note, so I'm sorry. That's what I want. Okay, got it. So 1. Okay. 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we've got some strings coming in there and some chords as well, which is cool. So that kind of sounds like this now. So don't forget, this is the bass with our strings in the background, and it goes to higher strings, and then that chord kicks in as well. And, you know, we're just messing around with this. But what I'm going to do now is obviously the magic is what we were talking about earlier on, is the fact that we want to bring in some compression now to make that drum beat take control of the strings so that you get that kind of whooshing sound. And what we use is what's called side chain compression. Now, it's something we've talked about on a live stream way back, I think probably about a year or so ago, but I wanted to kind of demonstrate that on this section, because if you listen back to and we'll solo out the track that I wanted to demonstrate for you from Eric Prydz, Call on Me. It's that kind of whooshing sound that I want to try and recreate on. It won't be anywhere near as good as that, obviously, because that's done in a multi-track studio and costs millions to produce. But and we're just doing it in the box here. But you get the idea. So what we're going to do is, we've already got our bass notes and our strings, which is fine. So what we want to do is put the compression on which channel do you think? Which track do you think we should put the compression on? Or which tracks, as such, do you think we should put the compression on? Okay, that's what I'd like to try and explore. So we'll go to effects, and what we're looking for is a compressor. So we scroll down. You can't see that. Sorry, my fault. There we go. So we're scrolling down, and we're looking for a compressor. And there's the FX compressor that's built into PreSonus Studio 15.5.2. So what we're going to try and do first of all, okay, is to drag it onto the first one here is the Mai Tai. So that's the strings. Let's have a look. Yeah, that one there. So we're going to drag it onto the strings track first of all. Okay. We're going to put it on inserts, like so. And what we want to do is to go to the sidechain option just up here. So for instance, currently, nothing's happening because nothing's going through it, which is absolutely fine. But we're going to go to sidechain. And what we want to do is bring in the track that the bass drum is on. So we go to here, he says. Should be a drop-down menu somewhere. There we go. Okay. So we want to highlight track, I think it's track 3, isn't it, that the drums are on? Impact, yeah. So we want it to be triggered by impact, which is the drums that you can hear on this particular mix, okay? So let's just try that and rewind right to the beginning again, and we'll listen to that and how it sounds. Okay. So this should be now using the sidechain for track 3. And what we're doing now is bringing the gain up on that side chain in order to make the compressor dip the strings. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do with this gain here, the side gain. So let's start off with it without. We'll bring it up, and you can see that the compressor is now working. Listen to the sound. And as I bring that makeup gain higher, you can actually hear that's affecting the strings far more with that bass drum. Now the bass is being triggered, the compressor is being triggered by the bass drum, and it's making the strings dip, but it's not making the chords dip yet because we haven't yet put a compressor on that one. We can do that again on a secondary track. So let's just go back to the beginning again and listen to that without the compressor on. So we'll turn it off on the compressor unit here on the left-hand side. So turn that off. So that's without. This is with it on. Bringing the makeup gain up really high, so you can hear that now. I think that's really, really good. So what I wanted to do is to so look, we kind of run out of run out of bass, don't we, where it finishes? But that's fine. What I can do is right-click and duplicate that pretty easily, and then make that snap to grid at the same time. So that continues, which is great. And also, what I can do is right-click and duplicate the strings track, and then bring that into roughly, I think it's there. Yeah, okay, that's cool. And then if we need to, we'll just extend this as well. So duplicate, and then, yeah. That's okay, that's cool. It kind of breaks there anyway, which is fine. So back to the beginning again. So we've got no compressions currently on track 5, but we have on track 4, and it's being triggered by track 3. Hope that makes sense. Let's now try, because you can hear... You can clearly hear that thumping sound that I'm trying to recreate. So if we go back to listening to Eric Prydz again, you can hear how that's working, can't you? Do you see what I mean? So what I'm trying to do, as I say, is replicate that kind of effect on tonight's show. So I think we've done a pretty good job so far. Have a listen to this again. But what we don't have it on yet, and by the way, this is just a very rough mix. That's why it's really loud currently, and I'm going to put some limiter on it so it doesn't peak. But on the mix itself, we don't have a compressor on track 5. So that's my next goal, is to again bring that mixer in, that compressor in, and put it onto the presence channel, which is just here. So again, drag that over to the inserts. Here's the compressor. Nothing's happening currently. We switch sidechain on, and again I want that to be triggered by that bass drum again. So if we go to track 3, which is the impact, and then we go to gain, bring up some gain. That's now also working on those chords, and we'll bring a little makeup gain in there as well. That's really good. Now, what I want to demonstrate is that when the bass drum stops, okay, so we're going to create a deliberate break somewhere. So let's just have a listen to when that should kick in. So, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, That's exactly how I want it to work. So in other words, when that drum beat stops, they're on track 3. When that ends, the effect that it has on the compression disappears because there's nothing triggering the compressor on tracks 4, tracks 4 and 5, okay? So let me, it's difficult to demonstrate unless I have the compressor open. So let me just show you that as we're going through. So let's go to Mixer, and we'll just bring up the compressor for the chords, and we'll go to Edit, and you'll see that working. So we've gone back to the beginning. Have a listen to this. And you can see the compressor working there on the right-hand side, that yellow streak that's coming down out of the top there. A bass note kicks in there as well. And then it stops. And what I'd like it to do is to stop for just 4 bars. So when it stops there, let me think, is 16, 17, 18. So from bar, so listen to this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I want it to come. I want the drum beat to come back in on. Let's have a look here. So if I duplicate this, 2 seconds. I want it to come back in on. Let's count that in again. So coming back to here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So it should come back in at exactly bar 21. So listen to that again. That's pretty good. So what I want to do is just edit this one as well, because that's not quite where I need it to be. So give me 2 seconds while I just snap that to there. Should be cool. Let's go there and there. Oh, it's not working. Hang on, let's undo that. Undo delete event. Yeah, absolutely. And then undo delete event. Undo split event. There we go. Okay. So what I might have to do is to overlap that. Just give me 2 seconds while I get the right tool, which is this one. So I should be able to drag this so it starts there. There we go. So let's try that. So you get the idea. That's sidechain compression working on the old track. Now, just bear in mind that if I go to full screen here, you'll see that we are peaking. So down at the bottom right-hand corner of the graph here, you'll see that it's in the red. Now, the reason for that is that everything coming through it is just too much. Okay, it's creating too much volume. We're actually 4 dB over, and not much headroom. And I've dropped the main volume on that as well. So we can actually see what's causing the peak. And funnily enough, it's not the bass drum. It's probably when the chords kick in, actually, to be fair. let's watch it, see what happens. So we've got a natural drop there, which is really, really cool. I like that. It's really good. What I'm going to do is put a limiter on the final track, the post-production, the post-fader on the final track. And let's just take a listen to how that works in the mix. Let's go right back to the beginning. It's interesting because when I put the limiter on it, it's actually decreasing that the effect that I want it to produce when it's reducing that the string section and the chords. So when I put the limiter on, it's actually what the limiter's doing is kind of compensating for that whooshing sound. So I'm actually going to leave the limiter off of the final channel. We're not peaking too many dBs over anyway. And in fact, on that last take, I don't think we peaked at all, so that's pretty cool. But what you've got to bear in mind that is if you're doing multi-tracks, you want to be able to have more headroom at the end, for putting vocals on, that kind of thing, for putting more effects on. Don't forget there's no hi-hat, there's no cymbal crash, there's no synth effect on there yet, there's no snare drum, there's no hand claps, all that kind of stuff can be added into a dance track, but you're going to need to have some more headroom if you want to be able to put those things in, is what I'm trying to say. So give yourself headroom. What we've not done yet is touched any of the mixers. So if we go to main screen again, you'll see that the mixers are all on 0, okay? So what that means is that we've not actually put any automation on these channels yet. We've not actually tweaked them to make them any less or more volume on each of those tracks. So what we're doing is literally, from scratch, just having this kind of from scratch mix that goes like this. And on the channel mixer there, you can see that compression working. Go. So what we can do actually is, let me just reduce this and we'll bring in, so on the mixer, let me think here, we've got impact, that's interesting. So if let's go to impact again on track 3, let's arm that, that's coming up on which channel? Ah, interesting. Okay. Good. Okay. What I want to do is add a snare drum in there. So what I'm going to do is arm the track for recording. But I'm going to punch it in as this comes in at bar 21. Okay. Fingers crossed. We're in the right direction. Have a listen. Now, that was nowhere near where it should be, but in fact, it didn't even record, did it? As far as I know. Hang on. Yeah, it didn't record anyway, so that's okay. Woo! Thank God for that. Okay. So let's try that again. Okay, so let's rewind that and see if it actually played. I don't think it did. I'm not sure. Let's try it. So this is where the break happens right there. Here we go. So, so that did not record as I was hoping it would. And also, if you notice on the mixer, the record buttons on the Impact 2, 3, 4 and 5 are greyed out. So it's not possible to record onto those tracks. What you need to do is to create a new instrument track. Let's have a look here. If we go to... let's have a look. If I can maybe bring another track in, perhaps. Let me think. About insert track, does that show? Duplicate track, complete, yes. Okay, so now we have two drum tracks doing exactly the same thing. But what I'm going to do is, let's go back to the beginning and take out... Yeah, like that. Okay, so now what we've got is the bass drum. This time, what we're going to do is record the snare. 2, 3, 4. And again, it didn't record. But why? Why didn't it record? Anybody know any answers to why it didn't record? Because it should have done, and it didn't, and I'm really upset because it was quite a good take that time. I think what we need to do, if I'm not mistaken, let me go to let's have a look here. So we've got to Impact 1, and we're going to. Let's try this instead. In fact, what we can do is draw in. Yeah, okay, that's cool. Okay, what we can do instead is this. Let's just, let's play. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Again, it's just not recording, is it? Just does not like it. Why are you not recording? I don't get it. It's showing up on the mixer as Impact 2, which is interesting. But it's just not recording. Why is that? Come on, Paul, think. Think, Paul, think. You see, this is why we do audio production for beginners, because I'm kind of learning. Have you armed the channel? Yes. Yes, I have. Thanks, Wayne. Had you armed the channel? Yes, I have armed it for recording and playing back, which is cool. But it's just not. It's not recording, so I need to find out why. Hang on. Think, Paul. Think. Instrument editor. Yeah, that's fine. That's working, which is good. Let's go back to the very beginning and press record. And we're only recording on this track. I'm just making sure I'm not recorded on any of the other tracks or channels to kind of ruin it. Okay, so that's fine. 2, 3, 4. See, it's recording now. That's odd. It's just recording from the very beginning. So let me just get rid of the piano roll. We don't need that. So here, it does record from the very beginning. So what I'm going to do is go back to the beginning and then just press record 4. Blighter that time. and you know, excuse my really poor drum playing, but if we bring this up we can see the notes as they come in, the drum notes that is. He says, where are we? Should have a hand clap there, I think. Hang on, what's that? No, that's a snare. Okay, but it's not on the beat, so wait, hang on a second. Where's that clap? Oh, there we are. So the drums, those two there, should be there. Yeah, you see? So snap to grid. I'll sort the hand claps out afterwards. I'm just more interested in the snare currently. Oh, hang on, because I did a hang on, so I want wait a second, I need to figure this out. So chicken hang on. Yeah. So I mean it's nearly there, but it's not quite. So it's so tricky trying to work out. Is it that one? Let's have a look. Hang on. No, because that's on the 32s instead of 16ths. So hang on. Let's change that to 32s. 32s, where are you? 32s, okay. Yeah, so we can move that around a little bit better now. So, yes. So that one's wrong, so... There? Yes, that's where I wanted it. Good. Okay, so now the drum beat goes like. So that one's wrong, so that could go there. Yeah, that kind of works. So snare there instead. And again there instead. No, not quite right, is it? Let me think. Let's go back a little bit. Let's try and find that beat again. Where are we? Here. Creates a bit of movement. You know, it's fine, but yeah, that kind of works. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Whilst we're at it, we might as well correct those hand claps, haven't we? So we double click on that, and then we go to, which is not far off actually, to be fair. So let's try that. It's a little too close. Let's try that on one more across. Cha cha cha. Cha cha cha. Try that. No, it's back, isn't it? So bring that back by 1/16 or 1/32. Let's try that. Da, da, da. Nice. I don't know what that is. What's that? It's gone now anyway. It's like a... I think I might have pressed it by accident, but it's okay. Yes, it's slightly out. Da da da. Nope. Oh, get away. I don't want a snare, thank you. Da da da. Sounds a bit staccato. It's not far off. Is it before? Let's go back one. Try that. Yeah. Da, da, da. Try again. Yeah. That's completely wrong, isn't it? So it needs to go 14-3, so 12-3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in. Like that. And then these two need to be moved way over. Not too far over. So like this. It's a little late, so let's bring that in. Other way. One over. Da-da-da. Bring it back. A little sooner, like so. Better. Bring that in by one. So it now goes. Cool. Okay, that's nice. I like that. That's good. So the compressor that we talked about earlier on, if Wayne, I don't know how quickly you joined us or you've been watching from the beginning, but we've got the compression on our instance of Mai Tai and Presence, which is, if I go to full screen, you'll see that on the right hand side here. And if I double click on that, it should open up. How do we do that? Let's have a look. Hang on. No? Okay, maybe not. All right, it's fine. So the compression's on those two tracks anyway. So, but we're peaking as well. So what I want to do is, and the compression is being side chained triggered by track 3, which is the bass drum. Okay, it's not being affected by the snare, which is fine, so that will cut through anyway, which is great, but it is on those other two channels, which is brilliant. So what I want to do is browse and again put the limiter on the final track, because we are peaking slightly, so let's go with the beginning again. What I'm trying to do, guys, is look at this limiter and see what it's kind of doing in regards to the whole mix, because I think it's muddying the sound, and I have to try and play around with some of these settings to see if we can get it to sound a bit more sweeter. Give me 2 secs. I like the way that's working currently, which is great. That's the compressor working against and being side chained, like I say, by the compressor by the drum beat rather on track 3. Let's go back to beginning. Yeah, I actually don't like what the limiter's doing, so I'm actually going to leave it off because it just seems to be too much. So unless there are any kind of presets where we can kind of dial that in, let me think. Clean up, let's try that as a preset and see what happens. Let's go back to the beginning. Oh, nice. Actually, I like that because what that's doing. I love that setting because what that's doing is bringing in that hand clap really clearly in my left ear. I don't know if it's working the same as you guys at your end. Hopefully it is. But let's have a listen to that again. That's really good. So this is a different setting now. This is a cleanup setting on the built-in limiter, which I've got on the final track, not on any other tracks apart from the final mix track. Okay. Gain is at 0. Ceiling is quite high, so it's negative 0.1. Threshold is 0.80. We're on B mode, normal, and we've got quite a long release, 180 milliseconds release. Okay, so let's have a listen. Wow, there we go. Yeah, just, again, the main theme of tonight's exercise was to create that kind of thick kind of pumping effect that you hear on the Eric Prydz track that I played you earlier, this particular track. So if you listen to this, I think what we've done is we've created our own kind of, version of that in the mix that we've created. Which I think is pretty good. Yeah, do let me know in the comments what you think of this particular effect and the mix that it's created here. But yeah, I'm actually really pleased with that, the way it's turned out, which is cool. Mystery, says Wayne. Yeah, how very 80s. You're absolutely right. It is very 80s, but it's kind of it's representative of a lot of the dance tracks that are about. Yes, that were about in the 80s. There was that heavy kind of, or rather the 90s and early 2000s really, where the bass drum, as you heard, was controlling the sidechain compression. So therefore it was dipping the strings or whatever was going through it at the time. And yeah, kind of really hammering that down, which is good. But I really like that. Rob Thomas has to get going. Got to visit Mum at hospital. Great to see you live, Paul. Rob, thank you. I don't know if you've already left by now, but if you haven't, then give your mother our best wishes from the live stream. And yeah, hope everything's okay. Let us know. Keep us updated on Messenger, won't you? I know you will. 80s is on point right now, says Wayne. You're absolutely right. Yeah, I think it's something a bit of a resurgence, and particularly with bands like Pet Shop Boys getting together with Soft Cell and all that kind of stuff, bringing that back to a whole new generation of people that are listening to that kind of stuff, which is cool. And Duran Duran, one of the biggest 80s pop bands in the world. at the Platinum Jubilee celebrations at the weekend. So, seeing them on stage was absolutely brilliant, and hopefully you saw that, and wherever you're watching around the world, hopefully you've managed to catch that on BBC World Channel, whatever it might be. But yeah, really good, really like that. So hope you've enjoyed tonight's show. Again, if you've got any questions about what's happened tonight, if you're watching this on the replay and you're thinking, what did he just... You could actually rewind stuff and play it back to yourself and see what we actually did there to make that sound. But yeah, really, really good, I think. And that kind of brings us to the end of the show. Just want to say thank you so much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure to play for you this evening, and hopefully you've learned something. Sidechain compression, using compressor as a whole, putting a limiter on the final track. What else did we do? We created some audio tracks and some MIDI tracks as well, using synths. And it's not playing now, is it? Because I haven't got the screen open. But it's fine. And we also, learnt how to snap to grid as well. That often helps because, with all the best will in the world, you can play on time. That's great. But particularly with drums, you want them fairly accurate and snap to the grid, which is cool. Wayne's giving good vibes. Hasn't come up as an emoji. Wayne, I'm assuming that was what you were hoping for. But it's come up as the word good vibes. Brilliant. So, yeah, we've learnt a fair bit tonight in the hour and a... No, it's an hour and a half. What time did I start? 8:30? Yeah, so what are we now? 9:45, so 9:30. Hour and 15 minutes or so. But yeah, really enjoyed tonight's stream. Hope you have as well. And again, give it a thumbs up, give it a like if you will. That really helps the channel. And yeah, watch the playback if you want to learn a bit more and how we kind of go into depth a bit more on that as well. But yeah, really good to see you. And like I say, join us next Monday night at 8 p.m. British summertime. We'd love to see you again. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay happy, and happy making music, I guess.